and it is the leading cause of maternal deaths globally, claiming nearly 45,000 lives each year. New guidelines from the World Health Organization, or WHO, International Federation of Gynaecology and Obstetrics, or FIGO, and the International Confederation of Midwives, or ICM, launched this week, aim to detect and treat this complication faster and prevent it wherever possible. With us now to explain what these recommendations mean for women and healthcare workers worldwide is Dr. Femi Oladapo, head of the Maternal and Perinatal Health Unit at WHO. Dr. Oladapo, thank you for joining us. How are you this morning?
I'm very well. I'm very well. Thank you. Thank you for having me on your show.
Our pleasure. Why did the World Health Organization feel that it is important to update the guidelines on postpartum bleeding at this particular juncture?
I think there are multiple reasons. First of all, science is dynamic and it's not static. So the research evidence that underpins WHO guidelines continuously change, and therefore WHO has a responsibility to react to new evidence. However, the main trigger for this particular one was the Postpartum Hemorrhage Summit that was held in Dubai in 2023, where stakeholders from more than 50 countries agreed that a major issue for clinical guidance was the inconsistencies among guideline developers, and therefore WHO, International Confederation of Midwives, and the International Federation of Gynaecology and Obstetrics, FIGO, decided to come together to issue a singular set of guidelines for postpartum hemorrhage. So we started working together over the past 2 years, and this just happened to be published 2 days ago.
You're calling for the rapid detection or a quicker earlier detection of postpartum hemorrhage. So what should doctors and midwives be looking for?
Very good question. It's interesting to know that for the last century or so, we have defined a condition by the amount of blood loss, but despite that, we don't measure blood loss. So in the current situation, what we want doctors and midwives to do is that they should measure blood loss using a calibrated drip, not just rely on guesswork, and they should watch for early signs such as a racing pulse or dropping in the blood pressure of the woman. And once about 300 mils of blood is lost and any abnormal vital signs appear, they should act immediately. So that combination of objective measurement and quick response will prevent situations becoming very critical.
Talk to us about the approach called the motive bundle. Can you explain what this is and how it works?
It's a bundle of care that one applies as soon as the diagnosis of postpartum hemorrhage is made. The motive stand is an acronym for massaging of the uterus. The M stands for massage the uterus. The O stands for oxytocin, you give an oxytocin drug. The T stands for TXA, is tranexamic acid. We give tranexamic acid by intravenously. The I stands for eye intravenous fluid, so you start intravenous fluid. The V stands for examination, the E stands for examination of vaginal and genital tears, and then E stands for escalation. If bleeding continues, or you call for help, or blood or surgery, as the case may be.
So how preventable is postpartum bleeding, and what should one do during pregnancy and after giving birth to lower the risk of severe bleeding?
So I think that what we see when bleeding happens during childbirth is a combination of several things that has happened during pregnancy. So first of all, we start with prevention. We treat anemia with iron and folic acid orally if the woman can tolerate it, or intravenous iron when oral tablets is not sufficient to do the job. And during birth, as soon as the baby comes out, or just before the baby comes out, we have to give a quality assured uterotonics like oxytocin to help the woman's womb to contract and stop the bleeding. Or in cases where they do not have good refrigeration, you can use heat-stable carbetocin, or a tablet called misoprostol in a situation where injections cannot be given or they don't have healthcare providers, or we don't have good refrigeration. And importantly, we should also avoid unnecessary interventions like episiotomy, which is a kind of cut that is given to the woman to widen the genital area during birth to just prevent unnecessary trauma.
Dr. Oladapo, we're going to leave it there for now. Thank you so much for educating us on this important matter.
Thank you for having me.
Our pleasure. Dr. Femi Oladapo from the World Health Organization explaining the newly released global guidelines on postpartum hemorrhage, the leading cause of maternal deaths worldwide. When was it when we were talking about blood donation? And I think we mentioned that we hardly think of pregnant women or women who need to give birth as needing those donated blood samples or bags. Yeah, because some, especially in the rural areas, some women don't have access to proactive healthcare, and they'd rather, be reactive in whatever the problems that arise. Interesting one there.
Yes, indeed. Very desperate situation there. And so if you can donate blood, please do so. You're genuinely saving real lives.
Your morning companion with the stories that matter.